Welcome to the Fitness and Nutrition Simplified podcast, where we take all the confusing, conflicting information and break it down so that you can live your healthiest, strongest, most energized life. I'm your host, Brian Fitzsimmons. Let's get it started. Welcome back for another fun-filled episode of Fitness and Nutrition Simplified. This is a little frustrating. This is take two. I just did a really good, solid one, and the damn thing wouldn't save. I tried giving you guys the highest quality imaginable and didn't really work out that well. Apparently, it takes like 10 hours for a 20-minute clip to go to a flash drive. So, take two. We're here on Super Bowl Sunday because this will be Monday's podcast. So coming at you from yesterday. Actually, before we go there, let's talk about the fact that there was a little bit of a change up. You might have noticed the music is a little bit different. That's because I invested in a better sounding opening. I hope that you guys like it. It's not as rock kind of like it was before, but last one was really choppy and this one's nice and smooth, kind of puts you in a good mood, and it's nice and relaxing to start it off. So I hope you enjoy it. But back to the Super Bowl. I'm really hoping for a good game because I always think back to Denver, Seattle back when I was in college, and I think it was, oh God, I can't even remember now. I just remember it being a blowout. I want to say Denver kicked the crap out of Seattle. And it was potentially one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever witnessed because I was in a bar, I couldn't hear it, and it was just a blowout. I'm like, never again. So ever since then, even if it's not my team, I'm just like, give me a good game. Unless the Cowboys are in it, I don't want to see a blowout. I want to see like a nail biter, like Cardinals Steelers when James Harrison took it back for a touchdown for like 99 yards. That's the kind of Super Bowl I'm hoping for. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say, I hope I'm right. I'll tell you my bets right now. I'm going to go over on the national anthem, and my first touchdown scored, I'm putting it at Joe Mixon, and I'm going to double down and put down Joe Mixon for MVP, because the payout's going to be great. So fingers crossed. I'm predicting the end score is going to be 35-30 Bengals. And I really hope that that Joe Burrow is like Joe Namath reincarnate and he just goes off, and it sets up for what I'm hoping is going to be one incredible career, because he seems like a cool dude. I want to see him do well. Hopefully all goes well tonight in about 6 hours. All right, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about why you should do your weak hand first or weak foot first when it comes to single arm or single leg training, why LeBron spends $1.5 million a year on recovery, and why no matter how many crunches you do, it's just not going to get you any abs. But we'll save the best for last. Let's start off with the weak hand first. Reason I bring this one up is because a lot of times when I'm in person with a client or I get the check-in videos that the online people send me, they always start with their dominant hand, which is natural. I mean, when we go brush our teeth, it's with our dominant hand. When we go and stick a fork in our food, it's usually with the dominant hand. And it's very comfortable, very familiar, which is why our dominant side is usually stronger than the non-dominant side. What that does, though, is it creates an imbalance. So you see it a lot when it comes to barbell movements, whether that be benching or squatting. Those are the ones that it is like a glaring asymmetry, a glaring imbalance. When you see somebody doing a bench press with a barbell and one side goes up way further than the other, and then they like seesaw it. That's the technical term. They seesaw the weight up, or they do a squat and the bar just looks crooked the entire time. That could be due to a number of things, but it also could be due to one leg being stronger than the other. Or you see, like when you look at somebody from a squat straight on, one knee will stay slightly turned out, which is what we want. We want that slight external rotation, and it'll keep it all the way through. And then the other one buckles in, and it looks like one of their knees is about to break. That's because the one side, the glute, is much stronger than the other, which is why we do single leg training, because to stabilize the hip, you do one at a time. It strengthens up the glute, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole as far as the what happens. I'm talking about the why behind it all. The real big thing that we want to focus on is bringing those asymmetries down and leveling them out as best we can, because at the end of the day, you're always going to have one side that's stronger than the other. We just want to minimize that gap as best we can, because when you do things like that seesaw bench press or the tilted squat, that for one puts a very low ceiling for growth on you. So your capability in the future to progress and get stronger is very, very low. Like eventually you're going to hit a point where your strength just stops or you're going to get hurt. And we don't want that, because like worst case scenario, yes, it can send you to the physical therapist. There's guys like Squat U or other accounts like that where they show you what can happen. Like these high level lifters that are some of the strongest people in the world coming to them with back pain, hip pain, knee pain. And you look at their squats and it's like, wow, I have no idea how they got this strong doing it like that, because there's glaring problems. Or some of them are very slight and you can't even notice. But because of that strength differential, because they've never like prioritized single leg or single arm training, or training muscles that are supporting muscles like in the back or in the hamstrings and stuff like that, that can cause issues. So for that reason, that's why I do a lot of unilateral training, which is just one-sided training. And the bilateral, just so everybody's on the same page, bilateral means you use 2 feet or 2 hands. Unilateral is 1 hand or 1 foot at a time. I personally like using, and you feel free to copy this, use bilateral training to get you to a point where you can do unilateral training. So for example, that would be like doing goblet squats with both feet as to the point where you can handle a good amount of weight. So what I like to see is people like holding the dumbbell up at their chest, doing their squats, and being able to do somewhere around like 6 to 8 with 50 pounds, male or female, because I've seen both. And then that usually puts people in a position where they could do 1 foot in front of the other and do what we call a split squat, not a lunge, a split squat, because that keeps you in place. It's not like looking ugly. There's no motion back and forth. It's just you're locked in and you just go up, down. And then you do that. Again, you do it until you get to like, say, that 50 mark. And then you could do a reverse lunge and then put your foot up on a bench or something and do the Bulgarian. And then that way you have some sort of progression and you're really progressing on this single leg stuff, so that if at some point you do want to go to the barbell and do like a back squat or a front squat, you're in a very good position because both legs are doing an equal amount of work, or as close to equal as you can get. And then your ceiling for growth is extremely high. And if at some point you catch, like, because at a certain point your brain is going to do what's the strongest version of what you're capable of. And that usually means favoring the dominant side a little bit more. So say you do get to the barbell and you push it to the point where now you're asymmetrical again. That's when you bring it back, do the single leg training again, and then you go again. So it's like you're taking one step back to take a gigantic jump forward. And that's how you do it. You address the asymmetries and then work on expressing strength as best you can. Bring it back and then go a little further and do it that way. That's how the best in the game do it. That's why when you see people coming off of like powerlifting preps and stuff like that, they'll peak, they'll get as strong as they can, and then they'll come back to the gym the next day, or maybe take like a couple weeks off. Then when they come back, they prioritize more single arm stuff or more dumbbell based stuff so they can address that. And there's a reason for it, because there's a lot of good things that can come from that. But bringing it back to the weak side, use that weak side first, because when you do the weak side, that gives you an idea of how much it can handle. So if you're doing like a dumbbell bench press and you press it and you want to go for as many as possible, like I do in my programs, I tell people when they're doing dumbbell stuff or they're doing at-home stuff where they don't have the ability to go up in weight, they're kind of limited. I tell them, go for as many as you can on the last one, leaving like 1 or 2 in the tank with the weak side first. So let's say you're doing that and your left arm gets 10. Great. You go to the right side and it's like, oh, I feel like I could do 12 or 15 on the right side. Cut it off right there. And then when you do that, then that helps you get a little closer to that balance, because even though you're not pushing it as hard as you can on the right side, the left side is. So your right side is getting a little bit of work. It's still staying strong. It's not getting any worse, but the left arm is catching up. So it's kind of like your arms are running a race and the right arm is still jogging, but waiting for the left arm to sprint up next to him. So when you do that over time, that will balance you out or get you very, very close so you can reap the benefits of what I talked about before. I hope that was a little clearer than it sounded coming out of my mouth. I felt like I rambled a little bit, but hopefully you guys got the point. On to topic number 2, which is Bron spending $1.5 million a year on recovery. Now, obviously, he's a professional athlete. This is his livelihood, and he should be spending that much money. But I personally believe that everybody should take a tip here and use that same concept of investing in their health. Because to put it in perspective, LeBron makes, according to Google, about $41.18 million a year. And out of that, he spends the 1.5 mil on recovery. That equates to about 3.66% of his paycheck. So to put it into normal terms, like normal people, we'll say the typical upper middle class, or the way inflation's going, maybe middle class, you're making $100K. That would be like you spending $3,666 a year, which equates to about $305 a month on your wellness, your health and fitness, which for most people, I would strongly, like if you're in that category of making that much money or kind of in that ballpark, I would say that should be a priority. That should be something that you focus on because of all the benefits that can come with it. And when I say investing in your health, I mean that literally, because this could potentially be saving you money in the long term by spending about that $300 every month on a trainer or on an online coach or anything like that. Because like to bring it to put it in perspective, back in 2016, insulin was about $450 a month at its peak. $450. That's more than if you spent that $300. Dialysis treatments per treatment are $1,000 if you don't have insurance. But even if you do have insurance, just think about how much more you're spending, because they got to cover it somehow. You're paying that. Don't think that you're not. You're eventually paying that. And then let's say you don't even need insulin, dialysis, or anything like that. If the average person is going and getting, like they're buying their meals, they're not cooking them, they're not meal prepping, they're going to McDonald's or Panera or Starbucks, they're spending about $10-ish for breakfast, lunch, dinner. That would equate to about $600 a month in food. Now, want to save some money right there, go to Trader Joe's or somewhere like Whole Foods. Everybody thinks, oh, it's so expensive. I've shopped there, and I'm a guy who takes their health seriously, so my protein budget is higher than a lot of people, and that's really where the cost is. And it comes out for me alone. So this is like talking individually, not family, but individually. That equates to, for somebody about my size, $75 to $100 a month. Or sorry, $75 to $100 a week, which is about $300 to $400 a month. Still under that $600 by $200 to $300 right there. So that just switching from buying all your stuff at a restaurant to buying your food and actually cooking it could pay for your fitness and your health right there. And on top of all of this, let alone the pricing justifications and everything, you really can't put a price on being around longer, about experiencing things like a kid's wedding or a grandchild being born or a grandchild like graduating high school and college and everything like that. Do you really want, like, when you think about it, if it were me, I would gladly spend $300 to spend more time. And that's not me being over exaggerating. Like, yeah, you can make the argument, oh, well, a bus can hit you tomorrow, but that's not what this podcast is about. This is about taking control of what we can control. And if you want to put yourself in the best position possible to be there for your family and to not just live, but to thrive, then you taking your health into consideration and investing in it should be a big, big, big priority. Take it from Bron. It pays off big. Maybe not in the millions, but how much is the price tag on another year with your family? I'd pay $1 million. I'd take out every loan in the bank. Not saying to go to the bank to pay for your fitness. I'm not saying that. But if you want to have an idea, say you heard all that and you're like, all right, I got to do something. Let me break it down for you. So, because a lot of people don't really know what the pricing is or like what to expect when it comes to investing in their health. For a personal trainer, because this is by far the best thing anybody could ever do if they're trying to do it the right way, getting an in-person trainer that knows their stuff, that is kind, that works with you and really collaborates in your effort towards living healthier. The average rate for if you go into like a Crunch Fitness or a Lifetime or something like that is around $75 to $100 a session. Now for Lifetime, that might be a little bit more because the higher end gyms like Equinox and all that, like they get up past that 100 mark. But say you go into like a Retro Fitness or a Crunch or something like that, 75 to 100 a session is about the going rate at the moment. If you're listening to this podcast 5 years from now, I have no freaking clue because fitness is booming. It's going to probably get more expensive. But anyway, that's about what the cost is. And let's say that you want to do about, how do I phrase it? Let's say you want to do the bare minimum. Like you want to start off slow. What realistically would you need to do? I've seen people make incredible results just doing 2 times a week, like keeping a step goal throughout the week and then doing like 2 exercises, the resistance training exercises with a trainer. You can get incredible results. And I'd say that's probably about the bare minimum of what you want to do. You don't want to get into that 1 workout a week range because that doesn't do a whole lot. But 2 is like the starting point. So you figure you do 2 workouts a week for 4 weeks out of the month. That would be somewhere in the ballpark of $600 to $800. It's a little pricey. I'm not going to lie. It's up there. I have some clients that do 2 or 3 times a week that are over the $1,000 mark, and to each their own. It's all really about what you can handle. If you can't get to that point, if you like just can't swing that, there are other options. There's online training, which again, I do it. I know a lot of really good online trainers, and the going rate for people that know their stuff, that really take it seriously, that have been trainers in the past, that are top of their game, the going rate is about $200 to $500 per month, which is a big chunk off of that $800 to $1,000 mark. So for most people, this is a very viable option. And like I said, if you do that switch up with the groceries right there, that's $200 right there. That would pay for it. That right there. I've literally seen the gym that I used to work at, the rate per month was about, like the cheapest option at one point was about $399 per month. And I witnessed a woman pay for it because she cut out Starbucks. That's literally all that she did. She's like, all right, well, I could probably afford like $100 a month, and then she cut out her Starbucks drinks, and she could afford it, no problem. And not only that, she lost 20 pounds. So it's like all this stuff feeds into it. It makes a very, very big difference. So don't let the pricing of everything throw you off, because it can be sticker shock sometimes. Sticker shock? I feel like I almost cursed, but I didn't. Sticker shock or price tag shock, whatever you want to call it, it happens because when you see these big numbers, it's a little bit like, holy shit. Like, there is a curse. It's insane sometimes seeing these prices, but when you put it into perspective and when you figure what other things, like what the cost is and how you can work it, it's possible. And not only that, you kind of want to feel that way because you want it to sting just enough where it's like not enough that you're thinking, holy crap, I'm never going to be able to sustain this. Like, you don't want to get to that point, but you don't want to be one of those people that spends $50-$60 a month on an app that you never use, or constantly buying fitness equipment that you never end up using and just flushing money down the drain. Because then on top of that, let's say you do eventually need, like, because you don't work out or eat healthy, let's say you do end up in that population that does need insulin or dialysis. Now on top of that, you've also wasted all the money on the crap that doesn't work. So to end this section, invest in your health. There's nothing more important than your health right now. And I don't care how you want to argue it. Your health is a number one priority. There's a reason that at Thanksgiving, people are like, let's just be thankful we're all healthy. There is a reason for that. You want to make sure that your health is a priority. And if you're only spending $10 a month on a gym membership, I'm sorry, you're not investing in your health. It's not a priority. And it might take a little bit of a shift, but it's well worth it because you're going to feel a million times better getting to the gym and doing what you need to do. You're going to have tons of energy. You're going to feel stronger, and you're going to be there for your family. For some of us, that could result in being the leader of your family. Like, your kids are going to look at you and say, oh my God, mom is incredible. She's strong. She's like super mom or super dad or super grandma, grandpa. Like, you could be one of those people that get looked at years from now and they're like, how do they stay so fit? Well, because they invested in it a long time ago. They learned everything that they need to learn to live a happy, healthy life. Because if you do it correctly and you really pay attention and you get somebody that's a very good educator, this could be a very short-term investment for a lifetime of improved quality of life. I know, like, my signature program, shameless plug, 12 weeks, I teach you everything that you need to know so that hopefully it is a short-term program. It's kind of like, I mean, at least for me, the way I look at it, I kind of want to be like a good chiropractor or a good physical therapist where you're not seeing them for consistently 3 times a week for an unforeseeable future. No, you get what you need, you learn what you need to learn, you get better, and you apply it down the road on your own. It's like an independence plan. So that's how it should be. And that's what you should look for in a personal trainer or a online coach. And then when you do stay with them, it's not out of a need. It's not that coach that's like, oh, I've got all the secrets and you got to stay with me because you'll never be able to function without me. No, you want to stay with a coach or a fitness professional because you want to, because you enjoy having the personal relationship. You enjoy the workouts that they give you, not because you are dependent. Because at the end of the day, when you learn that independence, it can set you up for an incredibly higher quality life. And last but not least, crunches for abs. This one comes from my in-person session on Friday. I had one of my longtime clients, and she walks in and she's like, I'm not feeling that great. And I'm like, all right, tell me about it. Like, we're warming up, she's foam rolling, we're having a conversation. And then as we're switching exercises, she gets up and starts pinching herself. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, I just feel so flabby and I've gained weight. Can we do more crunches today? Why don't we do crunches? And I'm just like, okay, we can do crunches, but why? And she's like, well, because I feel like I need to really tighten up my abs and I got to do this. And I'm like, pause. We've been working together how long? And I think it's got to be 5-6 years by now. And I'm like, we've had this conversation multiple times. If you want stronger abs and you want to develop some muscle, yeah, crunches can help if you push it to a certain point and you're getting better and better. That is a possibility. That'll work, but it's not going to change how you look. There's tons of people that have done 1 million crunches and nothing shows for it, because the saying abs are made in the kitchen is real. You don't see any muscle definition, or you don't tighten up the belly by doing crunches on crunches on crunches. You see it by revealing it. It's kind of like your muscle is behind the curtains. If you never pull them back and diet to the point where you can pull the curtains back, you're not going to see anything. And it all stems, I'm convinced, it all stems from those people back in the 80s, like Jane Fonda telling you to suck your belly in, or Arnold Schwarzenegger being like, you got to do vacuums, you got to pull the belly in, and you got to really tighten up the waist. That's how you do it. And it's like, no, that's not how you do it. There's these, and on top of that, the companies now that exist right now that peddle this crap are selling these garbage fitness equipment, like the crunch, like every possible way you could possibly do a crunch, or these things that help you squat. And all they do is feed into this BS of, if you work this certain part, you're going to really tone it up. And that's complete and utter bullshit. You cannot target an area and say, I only want to lose fat here. Spot reduction is a complete myth and marketing tool that plays on people's emotions. They are playing into the fact that you, like, as humans, we want control. We want to be like, I'm going to point right here, I'm going to work this spot, and I'm going to lose the fat right there. And you want that control, but that control, that level of control, does not exist. What dictates where you lose fat in priority order is your genetics and potentially your hormones if there's an imbalance or whatever. That is the only thing that's going to dictate where it comes off, pending that you're in a caloric deficit. So calories are going to still drive the fat loss, but the areas you lose it are not up to you. They just aren't. When you lose fat, you lose it all over. And more times than not, the last place that it comes off is the first place that we want it to come off. That area that the client was pinching, like around the hips, around the belly, the butt, the legs, depending, like for the guys, it's typical for the guys, like chest to like waist, that belly, the beer belly, the apple shape, if you will, that is going to be the last to go. Or for the ladies, there's, I forget what they call it, the pear shape, like where you hold it more in the hips. That's very common, and that's probably going to be the last place it's going to come off. And I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but it's the truth. But with all this negative stuff going about, there is a silver lining. You can lose it. You can absolutely lose it. But getting to the point where you start taking it off the spots that you want it to come off takes time. It takes consistency, and it takes patience. And that is where a lot of people go wrong, because they'll buy all of these crappy pieces of equipment on infomercials like abs in 6 minutes. They'll do these nutritional systems that promise you results in 30 days, and they'll just fall into that cycle of trying it really hard for a month, getting results, gaining it all back, or not getting results, feeling like a failure, and then giving up, and then coming right back to that exact same company months later saying, all right, I'm going to do it right this time. No. Do what you need to do. Get in the caloric deficit. You do not need to invest in Weight Watchers. You do not need to go keto. You do not need to do intermittent fasting. You don't need Shakeology or Isogenics or whatever that crap is. All you need is a free app called MyFitnessPal, and that'll tell you all the calories. And then you pick an amount of calories that results in you losing about half a pound to 1% of your body weight every single week, and you ride that. Very simple. So for 1% of me, 200 pounds, that's 2 pounds. So anything from half a pound to 2 pounds every single week is ideal. And doing that for 10 weeks would result in anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds, right? Yeah. Yeah. 5 to 20 pounds of weight loss. And I'm okay with that because that's realistic. That's sustainable. And if you're not okay with that and it seems like, oh, that's so long, then you really got to think like, do you really want this or do you just want it right now? That's a very real thing is you really need to make up your mind and say, do I want this for real or do I just like the idea of it? And if you do want it for real, start thinking long term because there's a saying, if you walked a mile into the woods, you're going to need to walk a mile back to get back out. It's not eat like crap, don't take care of yourself for 10, 20, 30 years and fix it in a month. It's not how it goes. So it's totally understandable and valid to feel like, oh, I hate this spot on my body. I just want it gone. Just know that what it takes is a concerted effort to put yourself in a caloric deficit. And that means every single day, not, oh, I get a cheat meal here or there. No, every single day. Make sure that you stay consistent. Give yourself a little bit of grace when you have like weigh-ins that don't go your way because it never goes perfectly. Your body weight will fluctuate, but it will go down over time. And stay the course. You'll get there. You will. It just takes a lot of patience. And that's what separates people. I'm convinced that is why we have an obesity epidemic because we're all running on 30-day fixes. If everybody had a lot more patience and a lot more consistency, we'd be fine. I truly think we would be. But if you want to be part of that 1% that gets what they want, that takes control of their health, that's what it takes. So I'll leave it at that. And if you guys want more help in that area when it comes to knowing what kind of caloric deficit you should be in or anything like that, just reach out on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever. Or if you want to email me at coachfits1@gmail.com, I'll put that in the show notes. Reach out. I'll be happy to help. No charge or anything. I just like helping. So just reach out if you need it. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening in. I truly appreciate it. I'll see you again on Wednesday because we have a special guest popping in, James Brennan or Branimal on Instagram if you guys know him. It's a very, very loaded episode. There's a ton of good stuff, great tips, especially for the parents out there. So I hope to see you guys then. Until then, have a great rest of your week. Go kick some ass, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for listening in. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a 5-star review and make sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can catch all the upcoming episodes of the Fitness and Nutrition Simplified podcast.